Today on Faithfully Fantasy.
I had to just say that I wasn't expecting that Violet is going to have that kind of signet.
I'm going to quote you from last week saying, it's definitely not going to be a weapon.
In my defense, I had to say that even Violet is confused about it. You can read perfectly Imogen comments, Soren girls
and
are
then
weird.
she vanishes off the face of the earth.
That's something that for me was so logical. Why not happened before? You get hit or something in battle and you're falling because you're not attached to anything.
Yeah.
And then you die and your dragon die.
Put it on the list next to the dragon scale armor. We'll look into it.
Yeah. We're looking for General Sorengale budget just to see if we have enough.
This place doesn't run itself.
He's another character that give me a lot of questions.
I don't think he's a rider. I think he's an assassin. Smart, I'm calling that now. We don't know that. There's some really cool things. Liam didn't cheat death. It was Violet. Is Malak angry? The vision of Malak sitting on a throne, being angry, and her saying, well, at least I've given him Jack's soul. There's so much in that. Is Malak gonna get Violet back in some way for cheating him?
For taking something that doesn't belong to her.
Yeah, because of the time stopping thing. The stopping that she shouldn't be able to do that. So is she intervening in fate and things like that?
Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy,
the husband and wife podcast, talking all things fantasy fiction.
Join us as I begin to my first read-through of Fourth Wind by Rebecca Yarros. And today we're going to be talking about chapters 26 to 30. Chapter that finally we start to see a little bit of action between Zayden
Naked
and Violet.
Zayden.
Yeah. So, as always, you want to start with the summary or you would like to say something before?
No, well, yeah, I've got some theories that we can start talking about this week. I'm so excited to share my totally unhinged theory with you, but I think we might need to wait for, if not the next episode, the episode after, but we've got some pretty cool theories to talk about today. Okay, so should I go in with the summary? I'm going to warn you now, it might be a long one.
Okay, no problem.
So if you remember where we left off from last week, the squad had just pulled off the heist of the century, stealing the up-to-date map from General Sorengale's office.
Yeah.
So it turns out that stealing that map from Mummy Sorengale's office just won them first prize in the squad battle. After a 6-hour flight, they arrive at the border post of Montserrat with various stages of saddle cramp, which won't be the last time Violet has some form of saddle cramp in this group of chapters. Ree takes a sharp intake of breath as she realises she's only an hour on foot from her family, including her twin sister and her new baby nephew. Awkward that she said at presentation that she wanted a niece, ended up with a nephew. They're being shown around the outpost by Major Quaid. I think his first name is Dennis. When a group of riders get back from patrol. Hold the front door. Is that... Yes, it's only our favourite big sister, Mira effing Sorengale. They're alive. Mira isn't an only child, but Violet sure as shit isn't the same little sister she left at Parapet. After a few days, Ree and Violet managed to sneak out of the window in an attempt to fly off to visit baby Mateus. When they bump into a scowling Mira who switches shifts on suspicion that they were up to something. After some well-timed emotional blackmail, Mira says, "Oh, fucking fine," and she flies with them to see Ree's family. They watch on, lamenting the fact that they've never had such a happy family, apart from those nights curled up with Dad reading the fables that Mira snagged from Violet's room at Basgiath and has waiting for her back at the outpost. Violet is just wondering how long Tern and Sigale can spend apart when Zayden steps out of the shadows. Turns out 3 days is their max. The squad are shadowing the riders at Montserrat and Mira is teaching strategy. They talk through a battle scenario and are expected to act out the strategy. Damp Dane is being a baby yet again, bitching and moaning about Xaden being there before the other riders asked if they'd rather just whip it out and measure. It would be quicker. Violet demonstrates she might just have the strategic brain her brother is so well remembered for by getting the squad back on track in the scenario, reminding Dane he's the squad leader and that he has an incredibly powerful shadow wielder at his disposal. Mira wants a word out in the corridor. She gave Dane that cold, hard truth that he's blowing his chances of becoming wing leader next year. She tells him tells him and Violet to sort their shit out before dismissing Dane and turning on Xaden. He reminds her that he is the one who flew out to Montserrat, so Violet isn't missing out on any of her training, due to the bond between Tern and Sigale. They're just about getting through the fight when the dragons signal that there are a dozen griffins flying their way. Mira orders Xaden to get Violet out and find a way to help her keep her seat before telling Violet not to die and leaving for battle. The squad makes their way to the outpost turrets. We get another steamy kiss with Violet and Xaden, but is he only doing it to buy time while Tern and Sigale arrive? She'll hate him for this. They take to the skies, heading back to Basgaia as those dozen griffins envelop the keep. Violet is safe, but she can't stop worrying about Mira. She hasn't slept and is hanging around Professor Markham's office waiting for news. Our Shadow Zaddy Deliveroo arrives with a fresh cup of coffee, and we find out he hasn't slept since his dad left to declare war on Navarre. But even without sleep, he's still a babe. Violet works out how to brain talk with Xaden as he's putting it to best use, slagging off Damp Dane. Mira is alive. Violet wants to learn about Zaddy. He has no siblings, apparently, though I have a big Bodhi suspicion here. And he loves him a bit of chalky cake. War games, and Violet has a saddle. They're up against First Wing, find the egg, protect the flag. Partway through their high-speed flag relay, Dane has them on. Violet spots the outpost, guarded by First Wing's dragons. And it's fucking twat Barlow, of course. He does the unthinkable and runs Liam through with a sword. No, Liam! And Anna stops time as Tern speeds through the air to catch our falling bodyguard. He can't die. He just can't. Once Liam is safe with Rhee, Violet is raging. She is the sky and the power of every storm that ever has been. She is infinite. The bluish streak of silver death strikes the mountainside. Jack falls as Tern roars with the unmistakable sound of pride. Lightning wielder! I didn't do the Tern voice there. Still got quite a long way to go. Jack is dead. She killed him. And now she is throwing up. She's not upset that he is dead. She's upset that him dying changes her. Dane and Xaden couldn't be more of a contrast here, as Damp Dane tells her she doesn't have to use her power. Zaddy gives him a reality check. She isn't a weapon, she is the weapon. She has the type of power that saves an entire kingdom, and in Tern's words, save the kingdom from the hordes of evil that seek to harm it. Somewhere in another plane of existence, Violet imagines Malak, god of death, sitting on his throne, angry that Violet stole a soul from his grasp. Then again, she gave him Jack's soul. Violet is throwing daggers in her room when there is a knock at the door. It can't be Liam. He's in the infirmary. But she opens the door as she continues to throw daggers at her wooden target. She's having a bit of an identity crisis, questioning the twist in her little fable. Shadow Zaddy tells her there's nothing wrong with her. She didn't want to be here. She gets to feel exactly how she wants to feel. Only within these walls and not outside them. Suddenly she's done fighting her feelings, surges up onto her toes and kisses him again. She wants to replace that anger of the day with lust, and she does just that. We get the first spicy spice of the book. Lightning strikes, sets fire to curtains, power lashes in streaks of shadows. It's absolute carnage in the bedroom as they both lose control. In return for Violet letting him in, Xaden finally lets Violet in, telling her the meaning behind the 107 scars on his back. If any one of those 107 children of the rebels betray Navarre, his life is forfeit. He saw a deal and he took it, allowing the children to fight for their lives instead of being put to death like their parents. He stays the night, tells her not to fall for him, then doesn't really help that by cleaning up the mess they made and leaving a jar of freshly picked violets on her nightstand. There's another knock at the door, and cursing that she doesn't need another bodyguard, she finds herself face to face with Professor Carr. She's off archives duty until she can be sure that she isn't setting fire to the books. He's got a breakfast picnic planned to take her up to the mountains and practice commanding the sky. Problem though, the only time she's done it was an emotional response. Should Tern get the wing leader? No need, as she reaches for the swirling inky black shadows that show her mental connection with Zayden. Enter one of the most memorable lines in the whole series. Drum roll, please. There is nowhere in existence you could go that I wouldn't find you violence. He floods her thoughts with images of last night. Crack, lightning strikes, but nowhere near where she was aiming. This is going to be harder than she thinks. That was a really long one.
Yeah, but a good one.
I basically just retold the entire. I might as well have just read the book, read the 5 chapters.
Yes, but it was a really good summary.
It was a good 5 chapters. I guess it's just my favourite bit.
Well, when they're together in the bedroom?
No, actually. No, it's the bit of Montserrat when they're doing the strategy. Well, it's a bit of a boring answer, but yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you think?
I really like it. How is this going? I had to say that I wasn't expecting that Violet is going to have that kind of signet. I was pretty sure that she would be, something meaningful, something that it would be like really helpful. Well, it's helpful.
I'm going to quote you from last week saying, it's definitely not going to be a weapon signet.
Yes. Hey, but in my defense, I have to say that even Violet is confused about it.
Yeah, Violet doesn't, Oh, she's a bit sad, isn't she, at first?
Yes, because if you're thinking about Brennan or Mira, basically those signals they have is to protect people, but the one that she has is basically to destroy. That's what she says. She's a
Depends
weapon.
which way you look at it. That's a Dane perspective. The Zayden perspective is that it saves people. Anyway, we'll get to that. Get to that. I'm really glad you're getting into it, and there's only a couple of episodes left, so you'll know everything in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can wait to finish everything, but I'm really wondering how it's going to end, because I know there's an Iron Flame, so for me,
it's a good one.
It's this kind of like feeling, okay, what's going to happen to finish this book, and then it's going to start straight away Iron Flame. So it has to be like a really good ending to make like step to the Iron Flame.
You won't believe how much can happen in 9 chapters we've got left.
See, it's gonna be something that it's gonna be continual. Hopefully, it's not gonna be like the one from Harry Potter. Every book is something completely different. I would like to think there's a very long story that's split in different books.
Yeah, but you do get you get an ending. Mm-hmm. So you get a spectacular ending, and then you get a new book. But it's like, we need to film your
reaction.
Yeah. Okay. Chapter 26.
Okay, let's dive in chapter 26. So, as you say, after winning the competition, they go to Montserrat, one of the most secure stations on the border.
Apparently.
Wink, wink.
I think Quaid's going to get the sack. He did say if you see active combat, I failed.
Done a really bad job in all the ones to displace. But that's another question, because you start to see these griffins start to go everywhere. They're attacking very often. It's one of the main ideas that's running through Brief and stuff that's confidential. So at this point, it's telling you there's no place that's safe. This is supposed to be like one of the safest places. That's why they
it is on the border. If you look at the map, it's like right on the Signy border, which is right where the Griffin riders are.
Yeah. So
it's what he said is it's one of the safest posts on the border.
Yeah.
It won't be the safest place because she talks later, doesn't she, about the cliffs of Draylor separating Tyrrendor from Pormeal? Yeah.
I think so.
I'd have to check the map. But the natural cliffs is a big barrier. But anyway, he did say that it was one of the safest on the border.
Yes. So it was really exciting to see how we changed Basgia for something else. We start to see this world, this development as long as you read it. And one of the best things was straight away she goes there and Mira is there.
Yeah.
There was like this really nice feeling. The big sister finally is able to see the little sister that she survived. And from the first chapters, you can see they two, they have really good
Close.
relationship. Yes. And I'm guessing for Mira has to be like something shocking to see like her little sister that she's supposed to be a scribe now dressing
A
herself
rider
right there.
with 2 dragons.
Exactly. She's not the same. Even Violet said that she is not the same. And I think that was something that even Mira, I think for one instant she forgot exactly how Violet actually is. Because later on when she found out that she can't even be in the dragon without falling, she was like, what? But you're like a rider, you're stronger, she's just thinking just because she's a rider, everything in Violet's life has been solved. That she had no more issues, she had no more struggle. But no, she's still having a struggle, but she's still fighting against all odds.
Yeah, there's like a recap, isn't there, of all the things that she's been through. She said like it all floods her mind when she sees Mira, and it's when she was attacked in her sleep, all the stuff with Aiden, everything.
Yes, Aiden kids as well.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to see the life continue. She still have family. There's not just her mother. At this point of the book, it feels that she doesn't care that much about the daughter, and that's like the first impression that you get. But it was really nice to see the Mira is there, and then we see Imogen commenting, "Oh, Sauron girls are so weird."
Yeah, then what happens to Imogen after that?
So that is something that later on, I guess we need to come back to this, because you can read perfectly Imogen comments, Sauron girls
And
are
then
weird.
she vanishes off the face of the earth.
Yes, and then there's nothing else about her, but more of that in the next chapter. Then we had this situation where Rhea, she know that she's really close to see her sister. She know that there's a little baby waiting for her.
Would you do it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, more if you're a writer, because there's no guarantee of tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, well, when I graduate or next year, I will go. No, because you can die anytime. So if you have the chance, you have to take it. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons as well for Mira, after Violet coming with this
emotional blackmail.
emotional blackmail, yes. But for her, it's the same. The writer's life is so... it goes so quick that you need to take any opportunities when you have it.
I had a thought about this. Like, Mira is susceptible to emotions and emotional blackmail and emotional, like, tugging on those heartstrings.
Yes.
Everyone always says Mira is so much like her mother. There's so many links, isn't there, to Mira's the one that's like Lilith.
Yes.
I think that's a bit of foreshadowing there, that Lilith has an emotional side.
Yeah.
And we'll see that.
Lilith is just, at this time, is really confusing character. Because I remember reading the first chapters when she was basically fighting against Mira. Mira was saying that Violet shouldn't be a writer, should be a scribe. And Lilith, she was convinced that she knew what she was doing, and there's nothing else to talk about it. And when they worked together, just mother and daughter, Lilith was kind of like tried to convince her that she can do it. It was like, I believe in you. I know you can do it, but you need to believe in yourself.
She said something about Violet dealing with more pain before breakfast than Mira does in an entire week. I, as a mother myself, I find it hard to see eye to eye with Lilith and the way that she does that. because I'm a very different mother. I'm not a general in an army of dragons, obviously.
Yeah.
But if someone tried to hurt my children, I might turn into that. But I find it hard to understand her, but I do love her as a character, because some of the things that we talked about, and there's some things that we can talk about today, where if you look at it from one perspective, the perspective that I think we're supposed to look at it when we read Fourth Wing is that it's a negative thing. Lilith is a bad mother. She's, first and foremost, she is the general. But you can look at it from a different perspective, maybe when you reread it, and you can think, actually, is she doing it for a good reason? Is she doing it to protect them? Is she doing it to give them a bit of extra help?
Yes.
But it's a very strange way to parent. That's all I'll say. But I do love her as a character, because you can think about it in different perspectives, and you can try to understand where she's coming from.
Yes. The problem with her is because she's a general, so there's so many people just keep an eye on her. As a woman with a child like that, is really hard as well, because you put a lot of pressure on yourself, because when you are the leader and you have so many men around you, as a woman, you can think you are not allowed to look weak, or you're not.
Well, particularly riders, only within these walls.
Yes, exactly. So that could be one of the reasons as well why she she has no feelings, or she just is a general, and the children is just another soldiers. She has nothing linked to them. But it was good to see the Mira and Violet, they were together. Mira helped them to go to see Ray's family, and they were talking about everything, this kind of stuff as well. Their Reed family, they are so close together, they're so happy.
And they don't have a family like that.
Yes, that's what they say. Not even when Brennan or the father was alive.
Yeah, but they did have plenty of nights with the fables of the barons. But I just wanted to say, they were stretched out on the benches, and the way that it was described, I was like, make yourself at home, ladies. Like, it didn't seem like they were being respectful. I was just imagining them like lounging on the dining room table.
Yes, that's how it looks like. But then Violet had a chance to talk a little bit what was going on with Dane as well, and I think she said perfectly that she need to change to survive, and they want to allow it. So other thing that she was talking with Mira, she was really thankful about the armor that Mira made for her. And you know that something that Mira said, that triggered a lot of questions on me, because she said that I'm really glad that it was useful, because it took like a whole season to make it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, okay, so from the beginning of the book, it says that she had only 6 months to training when the mother decided she's going to be a rider. So she had only 6 months to train and do everything. So Mira had 6 months as well to come up with something like this. And I was thinking, how is possible they get like so many dragon scales, because they have to be huge. Like when you're collecting one by one, there has to be huge. And what do you do with them? How do you transport it to the guy who's going to reduce it? Or is the guy always dead?
I don't think they're that big.
The whole process, you know?
I get it depends. But she was maybe making it for herself.
Did she give it to
before
her?
she was kind of collecting them because she had the idea.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I think is weird is that none of the leadership have taken this. Oh my God, we can make our riders fireproof and basically just as tough as dragons. The sword bounces off it.
Yes.
She just bruises her ribs, doesn't she, when the cadets tried to kill her in her sleep?
Yes.
But
I think she mentioned that she gave the idea.
But leadership are looking into it. Yeah. That means when somebody tells you, I'll look into it, they've got absolutely no intention of looking into it.
Yes.
Isn't that a bit odd?
Yes, it's just weird. Well, maybe it's what I say. There's just like the process to do the whole thing just for one
It's
armor.
worth it though. Like,
I mean, they're dying all the time, precisely because dragons
or being
attack. So anything.
stabbed. That
Falling
would
from the
protect
dragon.
them. I don't know if it would help that. No, I don't think it would
Nah.
help that.
The armor will be perfectly, but it will be a squash.
But saddles,
Right
saddles would help that. So if you basically just roll out mass saddles
Yes.
and roll out mass dragon scale armor,
Yes.
they would be in a lot better situation.
Yeah, that's what I said. There should be more ways to protect the riders, so there's no
Helmets. They should wear helmets.
Yes, if they were in Google, why no helmets?
Goggles, helmets,
Parachutes.
knee pads, because she has a poorly knee at one point.
Yes. But anyway, that was one of the things that caught my attention, like all the process to build this armor, and then they were talking about if Mira had any cases when two cadets had two dragons that being they were made, if how long they can be separated, how long they can be apart. And she said that she saw like a case or something like that, but she didn't know how long they can be apart.
They normally bond within the same year group, that's why.
Yes, but I think it's when the two dragons are thinking about, we're going to get a rider this year, so we do it together.
It's a family discussion.
Yeah,
you have a
exactly.
family meeting and you decide you're going to bond.
Yeah, I think there's another weird thing. They turned this side last minute. He's going to bond.
He wasn't going to bond. He only came because Sir Gale said, you need to come and protect.
Andarna.
Yeah.
And
then
he just decided to...
we decided that they could just dip in and have a look. Like, try before you buy.
Yes.
And that's what he did.
But I don't know if there will be time in this book or in the next book when we can see a little bit more about Tan, like why he decided born to Violet when he might not have any information when he went to just defend Andarna, but he told to her straight away. He landed.
Well,
and then,
you know that Kaori was saying, follow the tug, you'll feel a pull.
Yes. So maybe he fell with her.
I wonder if he also felt that. Because you don't know if the dragon feels it too. You'd think that they do.
Yeah.
But he wasn't at presentation, he didn't know
No, he
all the
definitely
stuff.
he didn't think about bonding with any rider.
And then he did.
And then other clue was there when she was looking for the dragon. She said she doesn't feel her dragon is dead. But anyway, Satan appears and then he reveals also they can't be separated more than 3 days.
That is 100% not true. We don't ever get confirmation that that is not true. But I believe that our suspicions over Imogen, which are not 100% my suspicion. I don't know if you picked it up first time round, but I have seen some theories around this online. So I'm going to take all of the credit, but I believe that he was there for another reason. And Imogen was helping him
Yes.
while she was there.
Yes, because this is the end of this chapter, and then this chapter straight away we start to see that Imogen
She's
is
gone.
not there anymore.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about it.
Yeah. So, did you have any more reflections on that chapter before I give you my thoughts on the chapter?
I think those are all my takeaways. Yes.
So there's one part while they're at Montserrat where Violet shows that she's a bit naive again, and we find that, do you remember we talked in the first episode about when she was with Mira, she didn't know about the marked ones,
Yes.
and it seemed like, well, Violet would have known that. There's another point here, and I don't know if it's that she just becomes vulnerable around Mira, and she doesn't seem to need to be her same intelligent self.
Yes.
But she says, I think there's things they're not telling us in battle brief. And you're like, well, yeah, this is a war. There's going to be different clearance levels.
Yes.
Obviously, there's things. And Mira says it, and then Violet's like, oh, yeah, obviously.
That makes sense.
But it's just one of those times, and it feels weird that it's happening again around Mira. I don't know if that's maybe her safe space where she feels like she can say stupid things. But, I think that for me is out of character for Violet again. But we've said that before, so maybe it's not. Maybe Violet, while she's very intelligent, she just thinks some silly things sometimes.
I think maybe the problem comes when she found out about this attack that was happening before, and she didn't see that was confidential. So she can understand that, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things that it doesn't go to...
Even the confidential stuff doesn't get to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that opportunity, when it wasn't confidential, it's just that it didn't go to the battle brief. For her, maybe that's the thing that triggered. Something's going on, and they don't want to tell to anyone on the past yet. So that's why maybe she was saying something to Mira, and
to try and find out a bit more information.
To see if maybe Mira knows anything, or she's agreed that something's going on. But then Mira took it more on the military point of view. That, there's a lot of things going on, and not everyone's going to know everything.
But she does say something really interesting that you didn't pick up on, or I don't think you did, because you didn't say it. You might have done. Mm-hmm. But she says, I could have sworn I saw a riot of dragons across the border. So there's some secret operations or something else going on that Mira has mistaken. Yeah. So she's saying there's things that I don't know, but I've seen a riot of dragons across the border.
Yes.
So that's a bit of foreshadowing there, that you do find out what is going on.
Yes.
Also, they have a really interesting chat, and I wonder if it leads me to an interesting question. Similarly to the would you do the same? Would you sneak out? So they talk about how dragons and griffins are the gatekeepers of the magic.
Yes.
But there is another way, according to the fables, of getting magic, and that's when you channel directly from the source, and that turns you into a venom. Mm-hmm. All fables, of course.
Yeah.
But are they right that magic is so tempting and is so... And Mira says she can understand now, with all the power, why someone might do that. Do you think a soul is a fair price for the magic that a dragon... Would you sell your soul to be able to channel, to have a signet?
That is something that maybe no one can actually predict how it's going to affect you. Because when we're talking about the soul, what is exactly the soul? It's just your feelings, your thoughts. You're going to be in hell if you take this power. Or maybe you're not conscious about how much would you lose if you lose your soul. And because you're not conscious about it, then when you see the power of, oh my God, I can be a shadow wielder, I can be a lightning wielder if I take all the power. Something like physical that you can see.
Yeah, so that's a really, really interesting point. Because would you know how bad it would be to lose your soul until you've lost it?
That's the thing, that you don't know what you have until you lose it.
Well, particularly a soul, you're right. It's not tangible, is it? But love is tangible. You know what love feels like.
Yes.
And to lose that, I would imagine it would be a heavy state of depression forever, for eternity.
Yeah. Maybe you're turning kind of like a zombie, somebody that can't feel anything. And
you can think.
Miserable. Yeah.
The thing is, you can think, you just can't feel. And some people describe depression as a black hole where you don't feel angry, you don't feel passionate, but you don't feel anything at all. And it's different for everybody, isn't it? But
yes,
I would imagine it's like a state of permanent depression, and no magic is worth that. in my opinion. So I wouldn't, but I'm not going to be all like high and mighty and say I wouldn't love a dragon.
Yeah.
I'd love a dragon, but to lose the feeling of anything for me, and that isn't necessarily true. That's just my interpretation of what a soul is.
Yeah.
There's a question.
Philosophical question.
We've gone into philosophy again. I'm sure we did this last week as well.
Yes. Okay. Anything else that you have from chapter 26?
No, just feel a bit. I think I said it in the run through that Ree really wanted a niece and she got a nephew. She was like, I don't suppose boys would be that bad. But she got a nephew.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay. Chapter 27 then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so chapter 27. So next day, the squad is split in two. In this chapter, we can see how Violet is mentioning how it's been split. So she mentioned every single cadet and which part of the squad has been split. And then is when you notice the first time that you don't see Imogen's name.
Where the fuck is Imogen?
And she don't say anything about Imogen has to leave, she's poorly, she can't join us. No, it's nobody says anything. There's no reference about Imogen. So obviously she's doing something with her signet.
Two options. Should we quote it first? So basically it says, we've been split into two groups for the day. Rhiannon, Sawyer, Sienna, Nadine and Heaton spent the morning with Devera in the room, the battle room, or the strategy room. Dane, Riddick, Liam, Emery, Quinn and Violet were on patrol with Xaden.
Yes.
Absolutely no mention of Imogen. Two options, really. One, she was there all along and she wiped their memory, so they can't remember that she was there, or wiped Violet's memory. Or she was there at the start, then she went off to do something else. She obviously didn't wipe Violet's memory that she was there because she arrived there, she said soaring gales are weird.
Yes.
But then she disappeared.
For me, everything is related to Xaden as well, because she was there, then Xaden arrives the same day. He just arrives in the night, and then the next day Xaden is doing patrol, doing other stuff. She's not there anymore.
There's one other major clue of what Xaden might be doing there.
Mm-hmm.
I will not say anything. We can talk about it today because it's not really that bad.
Yes.
But I'm interested to see if you pick it up.
Okay. All right.
So we are a bit suspicious.
Yeah,
of Imogen.
Imogen is doing something. So she just wiping the memory of everyone. And now Violet is not even mentioning it.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it's been revealed as well that some of the third years have been called to report a duty as well. Mm-hmm. That's something that Dane, he was completely surprised.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, so I was thinking a lot of stuff here. Like, first, this guy, he's been kind of like level of day, he's part of intelligence. So he had like
a special clearance.
Yes.
I thought the same thing.
So how is possible that he doesn't know the third years are going to missions?
Even Violet mentioned it before now. This isn't the first time we learn about that, is it?
This explains why Satan is running sometimes in the middle of the night. But for me, it doesn't explain when all the marks are going together, because that could be something else as well. So it's kind of this gray zone. There could be this, but doesn't explain absolutely everything. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was weird that Dane didn't know. He was surprised because next year it's gonna be a third year, which means that he has to do this kind of missions as well. And I don't know if he's like, I don't know if I'm surprised or scared, because
scared.
Yeah.
Dane really, really does my head in this chapter. And I'm going to go off on one again. Not right now, but I will.
Yeah.
I'll let you finish first, sorry. But, he's such a baby.
Yes.
Baby Dane.
For me, he's just like a little prince that he wants everything. He wants all the good stuff, and he doesn't want to give anything to
He also
Wolfie.
thinks he's really good. He thinks he's the best, and he's not.
Yes. But I guess as well is because he has his father, and his father is General Sorengel, I don't know if it's best friend or it's really
Yeah.
close. Yes, so he thinks that he is in a really good position, that he's not like the other
He's a
cadet that
nepo baby.
Yes,
He's only a squad leader because of his daddy.
yes. But there's a lot of things going on here between Dane and Zaydan, because obviously for Dane, he feels uncomfortable with Zaydan there. But Zaydan he's trying to fly low. He doesn't give a shit.
No, Dane's stuck.
But Dane, yes, still going. And then, in this part as well, we see that Zaydan started talking mentally to Violet as well.
Yeah.
That's something that I thought...
Was that a
at some point
surprise?
No, I thought that it would happen, but I didn't mention it. But when I started to see there was part when Zaydan was talking directly to Tern, so because they were all connected. So for me was why he won't be able to talk to Violet as well. And then when it was happening, like, oh, yeah, so they actually can do it. But at this
Yes,
point,
the
he's the
problem
only
is-
one who can do it.
The problem with doing 5 chapters in a row is that we don't get your specific thoughts after one chapter. So you might have another theory, but you don't have the chance to actually say it
Yes,
before finding out.
yeah. So I'm just going with maybe the bullet point for me, but then there's other stuff that I keep for myself because it's just, okay, it could happen or will be good if this happens,
Yeah.
but then it doesn't go anywhere until, yeah.
Comes back.
Yeah. So it was funny as well. They see how Zaydan started to talk to Violet. And I think here you start to see that he's a little bit cheeky, maybe tasting a little bit Violet. And other thing that surprised me, when we start to talk about the sickness or each one in strategy, there's Dane, he didn't know how much power Zaydan actually has. When they were talking about
Dane's-
Zaydan can cover the whole area with shadows, and he was, what? Can you do
Dane's
that?
starting to feel a little bit inferior because he's got a signet. Shit signet.
Yes. But yeah, it was good to see how Zaydan just with one jest and then the whole room got dark.
Yeah, I want to have a bit of a chat about just how at the end, because in the last chapter, we get a little bit of frisky, you do find out that Zayden's shadows can do something else. There is not a lot that those shadows can't do. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if they can move physical objects, you can do whatever. If you can create
Well, they make a
shadow from anywhere.
In chapter 30, they make a shield.
Yeah.
So he has Mira's signet as well.
Yes.
Anyway,
Okay. So what else?
with the speaking, just before we go on,
Yes.
he's all of a sudden gone from, we can't do this, we're going to be partnered together for the rest of our lives, we can't do this isn't good for us, to being so open about saying, you didn't consider that it was you I couldn't stay away from.
Yeah.
There's two things that I think are happening here. One, it is true, I'm not calling him a liar, because he does. He's really into Violet. And I think he has been for a while. But I think he's trying to hide the fact that he's there for another reason. And he's going a little bit over the top in one way. And I know that I'm not challenging the fact that he wanted to be with Violet, but I don't think that was what dragged them there. I think he was there for another job, but he doesn't want Violet to suspect that at this moment, so he's going a little bit heavy on the, oh, it was you, I couldn't stay away from you.
Yeah.
And the same in the corridor when he says, I'm right here, she's not missing out on shit, I'm here. I don't think it was... I think they can go longer than 3 days is what I'm saying, but he was there for another reason. And I don't think he would have gone so heavy, especially because it's a big 180. When they kissed, he didn't want to... I know that they had a little bit more of the Xaden trading Violet, so it's getting a little bit hotter and hotter and hotter. But I do think, while he's definitely being honest, I think he's hiding... Oh, that's a bit counter.
In the shadows.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes. No, definitely. I think there's more reasons. So Violet is not the only reason that he goes there.
She's just a perk and a convenient
excuse.
Yeah, for everyone else. It covers up. He has to be there because Sigel needs to be with Tan.
Yes. So there was for me, the first thing that I believe, okay, he's there not because he wants to or because he told to Sigel we need to go. It's because Sigel and Tara, they need to be together.
That's what you should believe at this point. There's probably is a little bit of a spoiler, but it's a lot of foreshadowing basically.
Yeah, but it's the Imogen thing. The immediate thing, okay, it's a little bit suspicious that she is there, then she's not, and she disappeared basically the same day or the same night when Xaden arrives. So that's the part that I was thinking, okay, so maybe Xaden had another reasons to be there, but you said as well. Maybe it's something that we'll see later on. But then we see as well this tension growing between
Baby Zane.
Yeah.
Baby Zane. Zane and Dane. Xaden and Dane are mixed together there. Baby Dane.
But it was funny as well how other rider, when he see these things going on, like you want to just whip it out and measure it to see it, because it was funny.
So
we finished.
Normally we would leave the on the map battle to the end of the episode.
Yes.
But I'm going to propose that we don't do an on the map battle this week. We do a whip it out and measure a battle. Who do you think would win? And if you think it's anyone other than Xaden, then I'm probably just going to leave. Who would go out in a whip it out and measure competition? Who would win between Xaden and Dane? It's not even a question, is it?
Yeah. I mean, see what happened in the last chapter with Xaden and Violet. There's no description there, as I was thinking in previous episodes, that you're going to mention something like...
Oh, you did this, you called
12 inches. But, yeah, I just give it to Xaden because I just don't like that.
Oh, Dane.
Yeah. But, yeah, there was one of the proofs, this fight between Xaden and
everyone
Dane.
can see it.
Yes.
It's embarrassing for Dane, isn't it?
Yes. And it's just not that Dane is not agreeing with Xaden. You can tell that he's just jealous. You can see that there's a really close relationship now between Xaden and Violet. He can see it.
And Xaden's really powerful, and Dane has a mind signet. I mean, not that mind signets aren't powerful, but...
Well, he has a desk signet.
Imogen's better than his.
Yes. But this is something that, for Mira, is very obvious. There's a lot of tension here going on, and that's why they need to take it apart and start to talking about it. And the first one that she goes is for Dane. And then she lived clear that she's just not mere Sorangel, she's Lieutenant Sorangel.
I don't know what bug crawled up your ass. Dane ate us.
But you can see the character the Mira has. You don't mess around with this one. That when something going on, she's going to tell you on the face all the truth, you like it or not.
Yeah.
And she said the same for Satan, that she don't trust Satan.
Yeah.
Well, I think something that you start to see in this specific place, Montserrat, I mean, is there's a little bit, I don't know if I take as a racist thing, but...
It's prejudiced, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
definitely prejudiced.
I mean, these people, it was Mark with the rebellion Mark. Is maybe for some people, it's the first time they see them. And now when they see them, maybe they don't know how to behave themselves, or they've been told that when they see these people, they need to hate them because they're trying to break the kingdom, or
Yeah.
you can't trust them. That's why they had a mark. But it's a little bit sad because they cannot follow anything, and they had to carry all this all life.
Yeah, I think it's not a million miles away from what happens in the real world. After a war, everyone has a perception of a good side and a bad side. It depends where you are from, what propaganda you are fed,
Yes.
whether you believe you're the good guy or the bad guy. And I genuinely think it's a grey area. There's a nuance, isn't there? But it's not racism, because you have the people from Tirandor who did not rebel, and you have the people from Tirandor who did. The people who did not rebel got promoted, and you can see Amber Mavis was one of those children of the leaders
The
who did
promoted
not,
ones, yeah.
who didn't rebel. So it's not racism, but it is prejudiced again, and it's an assumption that the father's beliefs, that the father's beliefs are reflected in the child. That might be true. It's an assumption that those beliefs were wrong because you're on the other side, you're on the right side of the war. And I think it's a real mark of how people are treated today. If you're from a particular area where there's war, it is, I don't think it's a million miles away from the true thing of what happens. I'm not saying it's right. It's certainly not right.
Yes.
But depending on where you're from and what propaganda you're fed, you believe you're the good guy or the bad guy. Well, you would always believe you're the good guy.
Yes, everyone has excuse always when they go into war, and in this case, it's no deception. They were the one who been defeated, and then they had to pay for that. But it's something really cruel for me to see, okay, there was a battle, the people directly responsible, they pay for that, and then the children, they're still paying for that, and every single day of their life, they're still paying for that, they're still the marked ones, and not something that is going to, well, at least, I don't know if with time, the rebellion really will disappear, or it's going to be marked forever, and then the descendants, are they going to have it as well, or what's going to happen?
Maybe. But I hope we never find out. I hope Zaid and Violet never have. I hate that trope in a romance
They
novel.
had children.
Yeah, I don't like it. It happened in Twilight and it was weird. Sorry, spoiler for Twilight. If you haven't read that now, then you probably don't want to. It's great until
Yeah, until
they
that
have a baby.
happen. Yes.
It happens in other ones as well, and it's always a no for me.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I just wanted to say on that point that you do see it getting better, because Nadine originally didn't want to listen to Imogen. She didn't want to talk to the Mark ones. She's now a team. She's getting used to it. I know that's not an ideal term of phrase, but she's getting used to it. So what Violet says is that their year is the third year, Zayden's year, are going to be the first ones to be serving along in the real army.
Yeah.
Outside of the college. And within Basgaiath, everyone's used to it because they're there, but they're never seen in the outposts unless they're at the third years that are going. So it will become more normal and it will become more accepted, but there will be prejudice.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I did really well getting to this point. It's going to hurt your ears when you...
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So Mira goes for Satan as well. So basically, she said she doesn't trust him, and she need to try to understand the special situation where Violet and Satan are. They can't be separated for more than 3 days, which for Mira is just absurd, because obviously it's going to affect one or the other one. And then is when Mira
Not 3 days though, is it?
Well, that was she's saying, but then Satan is saying that he's the one who is sacrificing for Violet. So Violet,
She's not missing out on shit.
yes, exactly. So it's been clear that Satan from the beginning has been doing a lot of stuff for her. He's the one who might be affected for all this kind of situation. But then, in this moment, when we heard the warning for terror, the Griffins coming, and then they had to leave, Mira had to stay to fight, and then she said to say that if you want my trust, make sure that Violet is leaving this place. So I think that was one of the reasons as well that say that didn't take for one instant to stay to help or do something. His mission was protect Violet.
But he
take her
did.
out.
He said, I'm the best fighter you've got, to Mira. So I think he wanted to stay and help.
Yeah, I think that was right in the beginning. But then when they say, like, no, you had to
Yeah.
leave. If you want my trust, make sure that
Yeah, and
you take
find
it
a
out.
way to keep her on her seat.
Yes, exactly. But a lot of things going on here. Everyone leaving. So I picture this part in my head. It's like really cool seeing like the dragon just coming here and they just climbing as quick as possible. And then
This in the TV show is going to be so good.
yeah,
Zayden picks Violet up and then she puts her arms
That's a
out.
T.
She's like a T. He picks her up and Ten grabs her and throws her on the back after a kiss. That's going to be a really good scene.
yeah, it's kind of like Titanic, but she goes away.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that part was really
You could
good.
make it really funny as well. Sorry, that's not going to translate very well. No.
But
Yeah.
then she is begging to turn around and we need to do something. But we said that no, they had to leave and they started to fly really high. And then from above they see the griffins because they can't fly at the same height as the dragons. And then that is the end of the chapter when they had to leave Montserrat, the safest
Yeah.
place and the border.
So there's 12 griffins
Yes.
and there's 12 riders.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, I don't know, I haven't tried to do the maths. Maybe I'll try to do the maths for next week. But there was 12 riders and they said that as a outpost, as a border post, they have the full contingent of 12 riders. So that means they only have 12 riders, 12 dragons at each outpost. That's not very many.
Yeah.
And then 12 griffins. Obviously, dragons are going to trump the griffins, so they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But I did think it was weird that they only have 12. Because if you think about how many graduate each year, and you should have more. But obviously they die a lot, and that's another case for protecting your riders better because they might last longer.
Yeah, exactly.
I really do not like Dane in this chapter. He makes my skin crawl, makes my blood boil, all of those things. He is so unprofessional. And Mira rightly says, you're blowing it, Dane. He's embarrassing himself big time. He says something like, you're the wing leader. Why? So he's like, why are you here? Then he wants to be leader. And then Liam says, no, our wing leader's here.
Yeah.
Xaden said, ignore me. And Dane said, but you're the wing leader. So all of a sudden he's changed his mind. He just does not like Xaden. He's really jealous. It's petty. And he's embarrassing. And the most annoying thing in the whole chapter for Dane, for me, and he says an awful lot of really douchey stuff. He assumes that he's going to make it out of there alive with his mind signet. So he said Xaden will make it. Maybe Liam will make. Oh, I can't remember what he says. All of the heater. He says the older ones will make it. I'll make it.
Yeah.
What does he think he's going to do? He's not going to be on the front lines, is he? He's never going to be on the front lines. He's going to be in intelligence.
Yeah, but this is the thing, because we came with this theory about Dane, that he can read thoughts. That's kind of like the same, or General Melgren. If I don't know if that's possible, like, how is the
He can't
distance?
see, no, that's a future. So
No,
Melvin's
but
thing looks in the
If
future.
you listen the thought of somebody, and you start to listen like, okay, we're coming from here, we're gonna attack at this many. You know what was going on before it's happening, or when it's happening.
But you direct
So
the
then-
people there. You don't go there yourself. He's not going to be on the front line. I guess the only way it could be useful is if... But it's memories he sees. It's things that have already happened. He doesn't see... If he was a real mind
that's what
reader...
he's saying, isn't
no,
it?
I just think he's useless. I can't believe that his signet is more useful. There's a... Just while we're talking about Dane's signet, it's not specifically related to 27, but there is mention in this group of chapters about how everything's in balance.
Yeah.
And there's a system of checks and balances, and when you've got one side, you've got the other. Dane's signet, for me, is the Uno reverse of Imogen's. Imogen can wipe memories, he can read memories. I don't believe he has to touch your face to do it. But I do believe
That's
it's just memories. I think for every signet you have, somebody has an opposite one to keep it balanced, so that not one person becomes ultra powerful. That, for me, makes me believe that someone has the power, a signet of light, to counteract Xaden's shadows. I thought that lightning was a great one to do that, but there's a question that potentially Violet's second signet could be light. Her name is Violet, but lightning and light are very similar. You know, I feel like we'll find maybe somebody with the signet of light to counteract the shadows.
Yes.
I think every signet has a flip
An
side.
opposite, basically.
Yeah. And so that's why I believe it is purely memories, and that's why I don't think he's useful. Because it'd be really useful if you could predict somebody's, like, you're in a fight and you knew somebody was, if you're a goalkeeper and you know someone's going to go left, you go left. If you're in a fight, you know somebody's going to punch you in the face, you block your face. But he's not even useful for that. He just reads memories. Like,
I think he's just useful if they manage to capture
yeah, in an interrogation chamber. That's where.
Yes,
that's the limits of his usefulness. I just think, and he has this assumption that he's going to be the one that makes it out of there alive. I don't think his dragon's particularly powerful either. He's got an orange dragon, and that tends to mean that they're like fickle and don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I just don't believe that. And he's got this total unfounded confidence that comes with just being Dane, but he's not.
He's a squad leader.
Yeah. Who made him a squad leader? Daddy did, didn't he?
Probably.
That's a question I have, though. Does the wing leader have a say on who will be the wing leader next year?
I think at least they need to take advice, because he's the wing leader, so he knows what has been going on. So he will say, yes, this person is wing leader material, or no, these are the flaws.
Yeah.
So I think, there has to be like an unanimous decision for the next one, yes.
So, yeah, that's really it. There was also quite a sad bit when Mira finds out that Violet can't hold her seat. She can't stay in the seat. She keeps falling down. And Xaden sticks up for her. He says, she's getting better, honestly. You should have seen it. It was bad. But now it's getting better. But then there's a really sad thing where Violet kind of says, she said, how the hell can you not? And she
She
said,
feel
because I'm
embarrassed.
not you, Mira. And then Mira's like, no, okay, I didn't mean that or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't pick it up.
Okay.
When Xaden takes Violet up to the turrets, she says, his bag is considerably lighter than it was when he arrived. I hate to think what he's left behind. Did he leave it behind? Or did he bring something there and leave it there?
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Okay.
foreshadowing.
Yeah, I remember read that, but I didn't pay
It
that
didn't
much
jump out.
attention. Yes. True.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the one extra thing that I think is a bit of foreshadowing for why he was there within 3 days when he didn't really need to be.
Okay. Anything else from chapter 27?
No,
Okay. Chapter 28.
I'm done with being,
With Dane.
yeah. Oh, get in the bin, Dane Atos.
Yes. Okay, let's go then to chapter 28. So, the cadets go back to Basgard, and Violet should not be able to sleep because she's really worried about Mira that she was left behind. And she found out that she's still alive. So she had really good moment sharing the coffee with Zayda, then with Andarna as well. She was really happy that her sister is still alive. And then once that is clear, then I don't need to worry about her anymore because she's alive. Then she starts with a new mission. There's a little bit more about Zaydan. And then when she starts to realize that, yeah, actually Mira is right.
I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, then sharing basically my life with this guy, I don't know anything about him.
Well, it's kind of like me and you.
A little bit. But, yeah, she's...
At least they spoke the same language when they met.
Yes, that will be really useful for
Although I
us
don't
in the
think
beginning.
it's not Xaden's first language. Xaden's first language would be Tyrish.
Is it? It's
Yeah, but he lives in Navarre.
Alright. Okay. So they start to ask a lot of questions. She just want to know him. And then at the same time, she learn how to talk to him mentally as well. Which I think now is like really cool thing for a couple, I guess.
And in battle.
Yes. For a colleague, couple, partner, to know what's going on and ask for help or all this kind of stuff is really useful. And more for these two, they're being
Bitch about
destined
Dane.
together.
That's how Xaden uses it.
Yeah. So it's really cool thing, I think. And then Zaydan, again, trying to make things easy for her. He gets a saddle for turn. So finally Violet is gonna be able to ride turn without falling or without turn using his magic to keep her in the back. And that's something that for me was okay, this seems so logical. Why not happened before?
Well,
But
why aren't they
didn't.
standard issue? So many people. So in the Book of Brennan, it says people are scared of the mouse, something I can't remember, but gravity is what kills people.
Yeah, exactly.
Why did they just have saddles?
Yeah, something to make sure that you're going to stay in your dragon, because for any reason you're human as well. You can't be a superhuman every single time you're in battle. Something might happen and then you just didn't grab properly your dragon.
Well, you get injured when you're on the ground,
Yeah,
and your
you-
dragon
you-
has to get you back.
You
can't-
get hit or something in battle and you're falling because you're not attached to anything.
Yeah.
And then you
Nice.
die and your dragon die. So
It's one of those things. Put it on the list next to the dragon scale armor. We'll look into it. We'll look into it.
yeah. We're looking for General Sorengale budget
Yeah,
just to see
put
if we have enough.
This place doesn't run itself.
Yeah, it's not to me, you know.
I wonder if
There's
there's a
people
budget for
making numbers.
personal protective equipment. That's
PPE
going.
for dragons. Oh gosh. Okay, so this is more for this training thing they had to do. So they had different, how you call it, quadrants maybe, battle between them, just to get...
War games.
Yeah, board game strategy, basically. So we had three things, like kind of three treasures they need to get from the other one. There's a flag, a crystal egg, and a professor I think, as well. So, which is curious. Why a professor?
Oh, it would 100% be Professor Kaori.
Definitely. He's going to be volunteer number one.
I don't think he would. He'd just be like, on today's episode of What the fuck is Professor Kaori doing? You'd just be like walking down the corridor with his book on dragons, all the weaknesses of all the dragons, or he'd be randomly in the healer's quadrant, wrapping somebody's leg up after they'd fallen, and then he wouldn't know what to put a bag over his head, put him on the back of a dragon, and then fly him out. Oh no, we've captured a professor, and Kaori's like, not again. Kaori's my favourite, but he is a little bit like...
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these characters that it's funny, but at the same time it's serious.
What's he doing?
Yeah, what you been thinking? But yeah, we still like it. But this thing, I understand that, they need to do this kind of training because they are the elite. They need to be prepared, so they need to do this kind of stuff all the time. So in this situation, we see again Jack Barlow coming back to action after being in infirmary for a few days. After the
not for long though.
Battle, yes, with Violet. He's back. He's been, as always, just a bully. He always is attacking by surprise, attacking...
He's like Dane. Where does he get all this confidence from? Because he can't beat Violet.
Yeah, he is just... Really, he needs to win. He doesn't like to be less, but he always go for like the more despicable way to do it.
I have a theory about Jack Barlow.
Okay, what is that?
I believe he was sent there to kill Violet Soaringale.
That was his only mission, kill her.
I don't think he was destined to be a rider, although he did bond, but with Bade. But this is I believe Jack Barlow was sent there by somebody to kill Violet Soaringale. He's failed, but he was sent there.
Yes. Well, he's another character that gave me a lot of questions because he was really good in the parapet. So he had really good balance.
I think he was trained.
Yes. So you can tell that he'd been doing a training, which if you want to be a rider, you have to do the kind of stuff.
I don't think he's a rider. I think he's an assassin.
Yes.
That's I'm calling that now.
Interesting.
We don't know that by the end of Iron Flame.
You think there's somebody...
I think someone sent him for her. So I think there's so much we don't know about why Violet became a rider, why she was destined to be a scribe, why she's bonded with Andana. There's so much, and I think I think it's destiny, and somebody is aware of this destiny and sent Jack Barlow in there to kill her.
Yes,
that's my Jack Barlow theory.
Well, for me, the other thing that's weird about him is when he was so confident talking about feather tails. You remember there was an
exactly.
episode,
That's another thing. Yeah.
It's how he knows, and he was even Violet, like where he getting that information.
Did somebody tell him? Did he find out about Daddy Soaringale's research on feathertails? Somebody knew all about that. Something happened, and then they sent him in.
Yes.
It's really suspicious.
Yes. Well, hopefully we find out more information because even with this, all the stuff that happened in these chapters, I'm still thinking that we will see more about Jack
Rebecca
Barlow.
Yarros recently said we will find out more of Jack's backstory later, but we don't find that out in Iron Flame. So
maybe an Onyx Storm. Maybe. Yes. Okay. But if we're going back to this chapter, these had these games. Jack Barlow, he goes for the kill for Liam. So he goes basically just to kill when he's supposed to be just a game.
Assassin vibes.
Yes. And this is the thing, why he's doing it, just because he can, or just because it's Violet's bodyguard and it's just like an obstacle for him.
Yeah, that. And also, I think he's not unaware that they're friends and would be upset, so would temporarily be disarmed. And he thought then he does that, then he can go for a weakened Violet. But he finds out, or he doesn't find out. But that has the opposite effect. She is not weak. She is infinitely strong. And
yes, until
bye-bye.
you start to see there's like a pattern in Violet. When you push her to the limit, when she gets stronger, when she goes beyond her
she
limits.
finds some more, doesn't she? She always finds some more.
It's maybe when she shows that strength that she has in the code, and when she actually shows what she's made of. And this occasion, it was exactly the same. So Liam was falling from his dragon. Violet, she had to ask Andana for help. She didn't want to do it, but it was
there was no other way.
Yeah, she wants to save him, so she has to use it. They save him, but then she's in a rampage. She said that this is the last time that he's trying to kill my friends or trying to do something against me. And the sun just go after him, climbing this tower. And she just infuriated, and she started to feel all this power coming from her.
Yeah.
And then is when we see, not for the first time, but we now see clearly what her signet is. When the lightning strike the tower, and Jeff Barlow follows with an avalanche. I think she mentioned of rocks.
Rock slide.
Yes. Then nobody will survive to that. Even I think his dragon was crying about it. But this is the thing. I don't know if I was crying because the dragon think that he will die or because he was dead, actually. But there's a few things, a few flaws about Jack Barlow being dead at this point for me. And we find out later on. But yes, Violet released her signet. It's clear the event turn was roaring and shouting.
I cried the first time that I read this. I was so proud of her myself. It's like she's got a really badass signet.
Yeah. For me, the first time when I found out this was with the audiobook. So when I heard, there was this woman saying,
Lightning wielder.
yes, I'm like, oh, that's super cool. But then later on when I was reading the book, and then I came back to this part and everything was happening in my mind, and I put in Terran voice.
Your own Terran's voice.
Then, it gave me like goosebumps.
Yeah. I feel like you need the physical print book for this chapter, because when you start to get Violet and Xaden speaking to each other, it's in italics. So you know that when in the audiobook, you don't know what's said out loud and you don't know what's said with it. When it's Ten speaking to Violet, obviously it's all in her head. So before this point, you didn't have a human-to-human interaction in your head. And reading the physical print book after the audiobook, you're like, oh, she didn't say that out loud. He didn't say that out loud. She said, yeah. So it's really interesting to read the book afterwards. And I have the same Ten voice in my head, I think, because I listened to the audiobook first.
Yes.
But he's just so proud of her.
Yes. I can imagine, because they've been together for so many things. And from the beginning, she was just, when they were flying the first time, falling constantly, and she's still falling, and then this girl that he's kind of like protecting. You see Taran kind of like a father as well, protecting her, coming with this amazing signet, so you can feel that this girl is gonna be the most powerful rider. She's now the most powerful rider.
Yeah.
And it's a signet that you don't see very often as well. So for him, this is a good rider, a good choice.
Yeah.
Something to be proud about. And that was the end of chapter 28 when Terence shouted.
Oh my goodness, I've got so much. The epigraph. You never focus on the epigraph. This one is so interesting. It's it makes my mind. It blows my mind.
Okay.
War games isn't about strength. It's about cunning. To know how to strike. So right at the beginning of the chapter, lightning strike. Anyway, that's done. That's fine. What is not done, Brennan says, eventually those closest to us become enemies in some way, even if it's through well-intentioned love or apathy, or if we live long enough to become their villains.
Yes.
Question number one. What is Brennan's experience with this? Who did he love who then became an enemy?
Yes.
Was it something to do with Nailin? Don't know, although Nailin tried to save his life. Anyway, something weird going on there. Number two, that's not there by accident. Rebecca Yarros has 100% said that. Does that mean Xaden will become a villain?
Yes.
Does it mean Violet will become a villain? Does it mean Ree or Riddick? All the people that are really close. Lilith? She's not close. But what about Papa Sorengale? What about him?
Yes.
Sorry. What about Daddy Sorengale? What about him? I think there's so much in that line that is going to tell the future. I just want to know so badly what Brennan experienced to get that little nugget. Because how old was he? 26, maybe, I'm guessing. How old was he when he died? He wasn't that long graduated, was he? And he got so much life experience to know that eventually those closest to us become enemies. I mean, something happened.
That could be like a giveaway as well about Onyx Storm, because there's so many references in this book about how Violet calls Xaden eyes, those onyx eyes, and they probably call it Onyx Storm. So maybe
Ken
this
does get
one
described as onyx on a couple of occasions, though.
Yeah.
But I think it's Anyway, don't want to go too much into it, but there's something in that line.
Yes, that maybe we haven't seen yet happening. Or we'll see.
Can't understand. Xaden hasn't slept since his dad left, and he still looks so good. How does he do that with just a few hours?
Coffee. That's his secret.
That doesn't work. I try that.
No, but he said that he doesn't sleep very well since his dad went for, I think the word that he says is succession or something like this, which means that he was just about to
take over
the king. Yeah.
I made it my business to know everything there was about you. The second I saw you on parapet, I can't know how to ruin someone without understanding them first.
Yeah.
That's interesting, just how far Xaden's come, isn't it? Because the reason he wanted to know all about her was because he really did want to ruin her. He had a hatred of her. They were enemies. They were going to be enemies.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to ruin her now. He wants to keep her safe.
Well, there was one of the explanation about why she moved to Fourth Wing, because that wasn't the first place when she was. And something that you say always says, keep your friends closer, but your enemies even closer.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was.
And now he doesn't feel like that, does he?
No, I couldn't tell exactly what was the point where he started changing. Well, maybe I would say that point when he started to see a different way was when she threw the daggers.
Yeah, I don't actually believe he ever wanted to ruin her, but you can see how far it's come. But he gave us a few options. Maybe it was when I saw Oren holding a knife to your throat. realised the bruises on your neck were fingerprints and wanted to kill everyone over again. Maybe when I recklessly kissed you, or when I realised I'm fucked because I can't stop thinking about you. Does it matter when? Is what he says. He gives us a few options about when it changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's loads to learn about Xaden, and you rightly said that Violet's doing that as well. I mentioned again the no siblings thing. I still am suspicious about Bodhi. I think he's a half brother, but I haven't worked out how. He just looks too much like him. I've said this before. We don't. Oh, I can't wait for you to find out Bodhi's signet. Oh, it's so good. It's the best one, and I don't think you could beat Bodhi. I think he's a problem, not a problem, because I really like him. I think he might be a problem for Rebecca Yarros. Like, if she ever won, like, you couldn't lose
with that signet.
I don't know. Maybe I'll be proved wrong, and I hope not, because I don't want Bodhi to die. I'm not as obsessed with Bodhi as I am with Garrick. Garrick is my favourite, and I really, really want to know what his signet is. Because Rebecca Yarros said, she was asked, if you were to be stuck on a treasure island, who would you be stuck on with? Who would you want to be there with you? And she said Garrick, and you don't even know why yet. So his signet's something. And I don't think it's like he can become a speedboat or something. I don't know.
You never know.
Yeah, I just can't wait.
Yeah, teletransportation.
Apparently we'll find out in, maybe he's a distance wielder.
Yeah.
He really likes chocolate cake. I'm not a big fan of chocolate cake. That is like a -1 point for Zayn and Ryerson for me.
Yeah, for me that
chocolate
was
cake is the worst cake.
No, but I wasn't expecting that he will choose like
something so sweet.
Yeah, I thought it would be for meat, grapes.
However,
yes,
there are a few times that Violet describes him as sweet, and he says, "Don't call me sweet. There's nothing about me that's sweet." And then she does call him sweet twice in in chapter 30.
Yes.
I got another random one. So, Day is Liam's dragon. And when they find out about war games, and when they're talking about war games, Day seems to have some beef with Glean. Glean is the orange dragon that bonded with Caroline Ashton, Jack Barlow's friend. Why does he have beef with Glean? Because I've been through the book, and this is everything we know about Glean. It's not long. 1, he dropped a rider. 2, he chose poorly. He never bonds strongly. So it's 3 things. 3, he never bonds strongly. 4, he bonded Caroline Ashton.
Yes.
That's it. So what beef does Day have with Glean? Maybe he's just annoying, though. Maybe he's just like one of those. Maybe he's like a Dane. Maybe he's the Dane of the dragon world, where he's like not a big shot, but he thinks he is. It's like the big dick on campus wandering around, thinks he's the best.
You know what I've been talking before about writers.
I think it's a she, actually.
Writers never left anything by mistake or anything random.
Yeah.
It has to be something. So if I have something that we don't know yet because there's no reference about it, it's something that we will find out.
It's a weird thing. I was like, I wonder what's the dragon gossip? Spill the tea.
Yeah.
Xaden doing Dane a favour, giving him the flag or not? Because Xaden said he's hoping that Dane learned something. And this is what made me question, really, did he do it just to annoy him? Because Violet says later on, it's annoying. Or, I don't know. And Cairn doesn't like Dane. We get that again. So when Dane comes over and says, is that a saddle? Cairn says, no, it's a collar or something like that.
Yeah. He
doesn't like Dane. And that seals it for me, because dragons have good... most of them. Not the one that bonded with... Jack Barlow or... I'm on Day's side, so I don't like Glean at the moment.
Yes.
Anyway, 10, talking about a fire attack. Only thing... You'd only get a fire attack from another dragon. does he know something that Violet doesn't?
Yeah, because he's constantly preparing
Her for something
war.
worse. Yeah.
Yes.
I love the fact that when she has the saddle, Violet puts her hands in the air. She's on a fucking roller coaster. She's like, woo, with her hands in the air. And she says that she's like, this is the most exhilarated she's ever been or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, she spots, while they're doing those manoeuvres, she spots this outpost that's, and she sees 3 dragons, and they're like, that's where they're hiding the egg.
Yes.
That was a terrible strategy. My strategy would be to put all the dragons in one outpost, but not have the egg there. So they made it look like it's a decoy post. And then you just have the egg with like the weakest rider that nobody would trust. Yeah. And then just somewhere totally inconspicuous, like in Kaori's office, because he's not going to be there, is he? He's going to be in the healer's wing wrapping somebody's leg. Or
with the scribes.
Or maybe he's been
correcting the books.
Or maybe he's been hijacked, like we said earlier. He's been hijacked. He's not a plane. Kidnapped.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just
doing whatever he wants except his job.
Hide it in the toilets. Hide it in the shower room. Nobody's going to be there. They're all going to be in the. And then you just have an empty outpost, and they go to all that effort, and there's no egg there.
Just make a hole in the
bury
it, and that's it. Who's going to find it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would do. It was a bit silly.
Yeah, but it did the trick. So Violet won.
Yeah. We also find out a bit more about scorpion tails. I mean, this is obvious, but I never thought about it. Scorpion tails have a venomous sting, obviously.
Well, yeah, I was thinking from the beginning that...
I thought it was just curled, like a scorpion. I just imagined it being like curled back on itself.
Yeah.
But it's a venomous... It's obvious. I mean, yeah, I'm being Violet here. I should have known that, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all. It's just another... There's 2... There's 2 really well-known quotes, or really well quoted in this chunk of chapters, and the first one we get is here: I am the sky, the owner of every storm that has ever been. I am infinite. And people quote that quite a lot. So there's that one, and then there's the one in the last chapter.
Yes.
Chapter 29.
Chapter 29. So right in the beginning of this chapter, she's feeling sick, just with the idea that she killed a man, which we haven't found the body, but we just assuming that nobody can survive that. So she's assuming that she just killed a person, that she's feeling awful, and the signet is not what she was expecting. She's a weapon. The only thing that she is telling herself. And then Dane comes here just to say something nice to her. I say, yeah, but you don't need to use it. Yeah, you have the best signet ever, but you don't have to use it. Which is a little bit weird, because nobody can hide something like that. And that is something that you see that, and it's something that is going to belong to the kingdom. It's going to belong to all the riders. It's not going to be something for you. You decide when you give it or not. And that's something they say that straight away. She said, like, stop being silly or saying that kind of stuff, because she will be one of the most desirable riders for the generals, because now she is the weapon. And she just can't understand, which was exactly the same. Like, yeah, I didn't see that coming either. So same boat. But it was interesting to see how different points of view in this one. And then again, is he actually trying to be a good friend? Like, yeah, don't worry. You could kill a lot of people, but you don't have to do it. Nobody's going to force you. But you're a rider. You're meant to kill people. That's your training.
He's not a good friend. I don't know. And I'm thinking as I'm talking here, I don't think... Because you're, like, say your best friend found out they could literally create lightning out of the air, and you're not happy for that, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, this is amazing. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
I think it was Sawyer, the first one to say,
Yeah.
You've been holding all this.
Yeah, you're holding out on us. Yeah.
So, yeah, you'd be like surprised.
You'd be
like,
ecstatic that your best friend could create lightning. If you're in a war effort, Dane's weird.
Yes. It's a game. He's just a character that is just trying to make Violet smaller, trying to no, just stay there. You're the scribe. No, you're not right there. Stay there. No, the signet. Nah, don't worry about that signet. Just don't use it. And it's just not logical.
He can never redeem himself in my eyes. He can try.
Maybe he will die, and then everyone
he's not gonna die.
He did well.
I don't think he can die.
You think?
No, because Violet wouldn't be upset. Well, that's a bit much. Like, she probably would be. She'd mourn the loss of her friend from before. She wouldn't mourn the current Dane, I don't think.
Yeah, but you know that Montserrat, when they were under attack, she said that, he's been a dick in the last month, but that doesn't change the fact that he'd been my best friend for such a long time.
No, but then later she says Rhiannon's her best friend there, if she's honest with herself about what Dane and her have become. We'll see. I'm going to keep checking in on your feelings about Dane, but yeah, let's see.
Yes. But yeah, she didn't take her very well, and that's something that for her is confused, because another writer will be amazed, will be really happy. But for her is deception, because one of the first things that she thinks is that her mother is gonna be really happy about it, that her daughter has such a power.
Very similar power.
Yeah, something relating to weather, isn't it?
Well, she can send a storm. It's different because she can't
just a storm,
control.
because I thought she can control the weather, but I don't know if.
No, I think it's storms.
Just a storm.
But I think lightning's different because you can harness the lightning and you can shoot it like a weapon, whereas a storm you just bring in the rain and the clouds and stuff. I think it's different. Violet is certainly more powerful than her mother. Well, the fact that she's got an insanely powerful dragon.
Yeah.
But lightning wielding is different to storm wielding. Storm wielding is probably more like an air wielder, but a bit more
natural
and rare, like rarer. It was water and wind, isn't it? Essentially, that you can control. So it's like
some lightning, I guess, but
not control. You can't control the lightning.
Yes, random. But then, yes. Violet is really concerned about this because she killed a Jack. So finally the nemesis is being killed, but she blames herself as well. That she will be the reason that the parents will going to receive a note saying that he's dead, that he finished alive.
I really like the line that I'm not angry that he's dead, I'm angry that his death changes me. Because it's turned her into a killer.
Yes, because so far she's been trying so hard to not kill anyone, even when she's been in a death threat, and she's even saying about it.
The shoulder wounds.
Then all of a sudden
she could have killed him. She could have killed him at the threshing.
Yeah.
She could have killed him with oranges. Yeah,
For the parapet, not kill him, but
she's like chopped his balls off.
Yeah. But then Zaydan, he gives like different point of view, because she's just thinking that she just can kill. That's her weapon, kill people. But then he gave this different point of view that she can protect the people.
Yeah.
Or the people they care about. She can protect from anyone with that kind of power.
I think he's giving her the same argument that he's told himself, to remind himself that he's not a bad person, because shadows is your signet. Yeah, it's really powerful, but I mean, it's the bad guy signet, isn't it?
Yes.
So you'd be telling yourself,
something about the dark.
I'm not bad. I can protect people with this. I can use this to make sure that my daggers don't stab my semi-girlfriend while we're losing control in the bedroom, which is what he uses them for later.
Yes, basically, well, literally, next chapter.
Mm-hmm.
But they had to leave this place, and again, there's no mention about they collect Jack's body or it had been found or anything. There's no mention. It's just he followed the tower. That was the end of the information that we get from Jack Barlow. But then she found out later on that Liam is alive, that he's fine, that he's recovering. She goes to her bedroom. She is really upset because she now needs to change her mindset. Then now she can kill people from miles away. And I think maybe because he's connected to Satan can feel this, and he goes to make sure that she is okay. And then he goes to the bedroom to cheer her up a little bit, I would say. Yeah.
Before we get there, there's a few things I want to talk about.
Okay.
The epigraph's a bit pants in this one, so I'm not going to dwell on that. Talks about how it's inevitable and acceptable for a cadet to die and there's no punishment unless the codex is broken.
Mm-hmm.
Boring.
Yeah, that's there we knew already.
Yeah. So there's a link back. Do you remember last week how I said you should know what you wouldn't know, but there's a clue to what her signet could be. Mm-hmm. So it links back to the first kiss scene.
Yeah.
And how Xaden said, your signet is lightning, isn't it? I thought it was.
Yeah.
Because the first time they kissed, there was a thunder snow, is what it was described as. Mm-hmm. So there's a good link back there that there was a few things. Xaden also knows what she did to save Liam, and he is really grateful for it.
Yes.
Tern saying you're the best hope the kingdom has against the hordes of evil that seek to harm it. She's the main character, so obviously she's going to have quite a big role to play in. But there's chosen one feeling there, like she is the one.
Yeah.
There's some really cool things. Liam didn't cheat death. It was Violet. Is Malik angry? I love all the gods in this, and I think there's something there that I hope we're gonna find out a bit more, because Ten said we don't hold any stock in your puny little gods or something.
Yes.
The vision of Malik sitting on a throne, being angry, and her saying, well, at least I've given him Jack's soul. Mm-hmm. There's so much in that. It's like just really cool. And is Malik gonna get Violet back in some way for cheating him?
For taking something that doesn't belong to her. Yeah,
because of the time stopping thing. The stopping that she shouldn't be able to do that. So is she intervening in fate and things like that? And the fact of the vision of an angry Malik sitting on a throne, I hope that we get more about the gods later on, because imagine in the TV series how that would cut to like the god of the underworld being really angry. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Real gods.
Yeah, I think there's real gods, because they talk about them far too much for us not to. So Zanal, Reed talks about Zanal, the god of luck, and Violet saying it's not Zanal, it's Malik we need to be worried about. It's not. So, and there's things like, if you don't burn for those who don't burn for Malik will be burned by Malik.
Yeah.
And that was something. Brennan's diary should have been burned, apparently. Like, you should burn things. Things should be burned. And Ree says, we don't always burn everything, because you get. Yeah, I just think that's going to come back, and I think Malik is. We're going to see the wrath of Malik at some point.
Yeah.
Do you remember I asked what on earth do they learn in physics class?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ree's told us. speed equals distance divided by time. So she's good at physics, and we know that.
Yeah.
And this is when she's questioning, how did you get there? I knew I wasn't going to get there because of our trajectory and how fast we were going. He was falling, so it's like we were on the hypotenuse. Do you remember high school geometry?
Yeah.
And he was going straight down to the ground. They were never going to get there in time. All of a sudden, obviously, Violet did and Ten did get there. And so there we see that's what obviously what they learn, flight paths and gravity and stuff. And there's a really cool thing here where it says she talks. Do you remember when she was nearly killed in her room? She was having a dream, and her dad was telling her, "You're not." She said, "What if I want to be a rider?" And he said, "You're not a rider. You're not like Brennan and Mira. You have a different path." We get another mention of that here, where she says to Xaden, "He told me I wasn't like Mira and Brennan, that my path was different." So you get that again. So I feel like we're going to find out a bit more about what that meant, and what I think there's more to that than. And she said she'd hoped that she would be like Brennan, and that would be the twist in my fable. So are we still expecting a twist in her fable? Is she like Brennan? Is she not? Is she more like Mira? Is she not like any of them? Is it there's something in that would be the twist in my fable, mentioned at the same time as not being like Mira and Brennan. You've never been like any rider, he says. I'm surprised you didn't talk about this, actually. You don't want to be here. Most of the kids of the rebels would burn this place to the ground if they could, but they want to be there as a chance of survival.
Yes.
You said that, didn't you? That you thought that's why Xaden initially was curious about Violet, that he took a bit of sympathy for, gave her a bit of sympathy.
He felt identified with her.
But what he's doing here is he's setting her apart from himself, because given the chance between death and a chance of surviving, you would go for the chance of surviving, wouldn't you?
Yes.
So.
Well, I think he's a more likely dead or certainly dead. So you would go for a little chance.
Likely, yeah. Whereas what he's saying is, you don't want to be here. You didn't want to be here. She does now. But I liked that, because it comes back to the point that you said at the beginning, that he felt that. And...
Well, he's carrying basically the fate of 107 people. They don't want to go there, or if they do, it's no point, because there is the destiny. So he had already some people in Basgiat. He know there were more people to come. And then when in the beginning, when you see Violet, and maybe he think that she doesn't look like an aspirant to be a cadet.
Yeah.
Because you will see that a lot of people will be maybe has something in the way to the world they told. They say, yeah, it's been riders. And maybe you see it more like a scribe. So you might think that, okay, she looks like, but she shouldn't be here. So you feel that connection. That's something that I said that maybe that's why he's not trying to kill her, because he see that she is in the same situation that he is.
I just thought, about this, like, everything has to be in balance.
Yes.
You don't think that she was, even Daddy Sorengale knew that she was going to be a rider. But they wanted her to have the most powerful signet and the most powerful dragon, so they kept her quite... She was obviously not expecting to be... She wasn't trained, was she?
Yeah.
So maybe... I don't know. They know more. They know more about this. And there's something about Andana. There's something about Daddy Sorengale's research on feathertails. There's something about Jack knowing more than he should about feathertails. It's all connected, but we just don't know how.
All the pieces yet.
Okay, chapter 30.
Okay, chapter 13. So we start straight away with the bang chicka bang bang scene. This is the first time that I see that much description in a sex scene, because I see in some books they have something like this. Even
You've written it. You've got spice in your book. There's spice in it.
Sure.
In Memoirs of Les Belle, there's spice. Not as much spice as this. It's not as on the page, but it is still, well, there's spice in your book. There's a lot of spice in your book.
Yes, but yeah, it was something that it would happen. It's something that I was expecting this from probably chapter 17 or something like this. So when finally happened for me, I was like, gosh, finally. But it was a couple of times when I was thinking, no, he might say, no, we can't do that. We can't.
Yeah.
So keep like holding the tension.
No, he doesn't hold anything in, does he?
Oh, she didn't hold anything. She really
did.
got like 3 times.
Yeah. He says you'll hate me in the morning. Why does he think that? Because it's not really selling himself, is he?
I don't know. I think it's because he still had this maybe fame that he's like the bad guy. He's the son of the big traitor or the kingdom or whatever. So I think he still have some confidence issues that he's not good enough for her. So he think that maybe now you're feeling sad, you're feeling so many emotions. You just want to have like a nice time, but then when you find out that you're not feeling that lost anymore, you will regret it, or you will hate me because I take advantage. But no, he doesn't see that she is being all the time just fancying him. Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. I didn't think I would I love this book, and you could take the spice out and I would still love this book, because I'm really into the dragons. I'm really into like what the fuck Professor Kaori is doing. I'm really into the world building and the map and all of that, the nerdy stuff. But I think I'm in love with Zayden Rise, and I'm sorry. Here's my book boyfriend. Here's my book husband. I think we're married. There's so much in this chapter, though, between the lines of the racy pages. He seems a bit obsessed with her hair, and we get more of that. He's obsessed with her hair. Why is he obsessed with her hair?
Yeah, maybe it's his thing. He's had a thing for her.
Grey hair.
Oh,
it's the uniqueness. It's the uniqueness.
Well, it's half silver, isn't it?
It's the uniqueness. What does it remind him of? Has he got, like, I don't know, there's something there about... he loses control of his shadows, and I think that scares him a bit. So coming back to your point on confidence, I think he's scared of losing control. I don't think he's just holding back because he wants to do the honourable thing. He's scared of losing control because he never loses control, or he never is seen to lose control. His shadows can make a shield. We talked about that earlier. His shadows can do so much cool stuff, and they can also be like a sound shield or a light. She stayed asleep while he was cleaning her room. I think...
Could be like a cloud as well, when they're trying to sneak out.
Yeah. Did you notice? This is a weird one that has not been put there by mistake.
Okay.
He cups the side of her face at one point. Do you remember reading? He cups my face. That is a weird thing to do in a sex scene where Rebecca Yarros is linking him directly to Dane.
Yes.
Because Dane's the only one that cups people's faces. It's a really odd thing to do, but I think I now understand why she did it. But I don't think it's there by accident. And I hadn't noticed it up until this final read through. Because I'm looking for face cups because I'm obsessed, and I'm going to die on the hill that Dane doesn't need to touch her face to read a memory. but it's the only time you hear about face cupping is Dane, and then all of a sudden Xaden does it.
Yes.
It's not an unusual thing to do in that type of situation. It's just unusual that she would link Dane in that point.
I remember when I read it, it gave me the
Dane vibes.
Dane vibe as well. Like, oh, that's weird.
What a turn off. The deal to save the kids of the rebels, I don't think it matters to him. Again, it's like survive or not.
Yes.
Tells her not to fall for him. And then he cleans her room and he leaves her violets on the... I mean, if he doesn't want her to fall for him, what is he playing at doing stuff like that? That's like, I've fallen for him and I'm not even there. And then the car awkwardness. Have you got more to say on the Professor Carr stuff? Because you stopped after the racy scene.
I mean, at this point, I don't know that much about Professor Carr. There's just been a few mentions, a few
What is his
scenes.
signet?
No clue. That's one
Maybe he can
thing that,
detect signets.
You think?
Maybe that's why he's in that job. But what kind of a... What would you need to be in that? Maybe he can detect signets.
Well, there's nothing that given the advantage, because when he was asking him questions about how she did it the first time, or the time that she'd been doing it, how she feels.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think. I don't think it would give you away before the signet has been there, but somebody could walk into a room and he would know what your signet was without saying anything. I think...
But there was a guy there, he just died in the class, he got like fired all around. So I'm not sure if I can actually predict.
But why would not predict? It's got to. You've got to have it already. So I don't know. I'm making this up, but like he could. Dane's signet is classified. Obviously, it's not classified for Carr because Carr trains signets. But Dane could walk into a room, and Professor Carr might be able to be like, he can read memories. So like he has a signet detector. I think that would be quite a good signet for somebody who was supposed to be training.
Yeah, so
signets.
something useful like Kaori, the signet.
Yeah, that's why he's in that job.
Yes.
And yeah, but maybe not.
At the moment, I have no clue what could be his signet.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, he's not a warrior. He's just a professor at this point.
Yeah, it's awkward though, isn't it? When she's like, I don't need another bodyguard. Oh, hello. And lightning and paper don't mix.
Yes.
I think this is a sign that she was never meant to be a scribe.
Yeah, but the thing is, if she will be a scribe, she won't have a signet at all, because the signet.
Yeah, but it was in her.
dragons.
I think it was her like. This is why I think it comes back to a destiny prophecy kind of thing.
There's another thing that I remember. Probably was the previous episode chapter when she was saying all the signets, and she was saying the signets coming from the core of the person, and then she started to say, Mira can build walls because she's protecting people. She said Dane can.
Yeah, Dane needs to know everything because he's a know-it-all, basically.
And then he was like,
Dane
hey,
has
don't
secrets.
say it.
Yeah.
And then said, oh, come on, you think I didn't know that already?
Yeah.
But she was thinking about it, like, okay, if I'm coming from the car, why she had lightning?
Yeah.
I think there's that thing that she need to figure out.
I don't know that it. Yeah. It says it so many times that it shows who you are on the inside. But I actually feel like hers is a prophecy thing. He said you won't be able to go back in to the archives until we can be sure you're not going to burn it down. Have you seen the front cover of Iron Flame?
Yes, haven't paid that
I've got
much
one
attention.
here. Where it says fly or ride or die.
Yes.
Do you want to read what it says on that one?
Said, burn it down.
Isn't that interesting? Anyway, I don't think that is actually foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that now. I don't think it is. It just stood out at me because it's
because it's still alive in everything.
Yeah. I think there's probably spoilers in this episode, but not accidental ones.
Yeah.
Subtle ones that you won't even realise. Okay. Right.
So
have you got
no,
more?
it's just that the Professor Carr taking out of the school to make sure they're not going to hurt anybody with her signet. The first thing that he noticed, the Tarn doesn't trust him,
Yeah.
and then he said
Another orange dagger tail.
yeah,
Another orange dragon.
I don't know. Why.
Dane has an orange dragon. I'm so suspicious of people with orange dragons.
Yeah, but the thing that was curious was that he said, your dragon doesn't trust me. That means that you don't trust me. So it was like, it's not personal that the dragon doesn't like me. It's because you don't like me. So it was just because she doesn't trust him. She thought that maybe he wants to kill her because her signet. But he left very clear that that's a massive asset they have right now with her.
Yeah.
Why he would do that.
I wanted to say, when I said he's got an orange dagger tail, Rebecca Yarros has confirmed that not all riders with orange dragons are bad. It just means they're unpredictable. So you can't really predict what that character's going to do, which is really interesting. That's why I like highlighting another orange dragon.
Yeah.
There's a book about lightning wielders, sorry. He said, from what I was reading last night, he was obviously reading up on it so that he could help train her.
Prepared, yeah.
Don't you think Violet would be wanting to check that out?
Or she would know about it because she's supposed to be a scribe, so she's supposed to know a little bit of everything. So
I think I'm not going to say that. I'll say it next. I'll say it next week. Remind me about the book of lightning wielders.
Okay.
We don't see that she checks one out. I mean, I'm just thinking that should be number 1 on her to be read list, because she shouldn't try and read all about it.
Should be second one, because first one should be what is the book for the tales.
Yeah.
What is that?
I was just looking at that this isn't going to translate well for the podcast, but we've got a Greetings from Basgiath print that we got off Etsy, and we'll have to tag the place where we got it. Take a look at it now. Look at the sky.
Lightning's everywhere.
It's been there all along, and we've had this for weeks and weeks and weeks, this print. Yes. And you didn't even suspect.
You have lightnings in
dragons
just
in the sky.
one cloud, maybe. So enough to get.
So it's obvious, isn't it? And that's been there, just sitting casually on our shelf, and you had no idea why.
Well, in my defense again, not even Violet knows why. So the interesting thing for me is going to be now find out what's going to be the second signet, because something that I think so far is still like a mystery. Yeah.
Well, we've had one guess in this particular episode.
Yes.
So there's a weird line from Tern in this chapter. Mm-hmm. Carr says, "You've got the most powerful dragon at Basgiath," and I can't remember what he even said. Did he say in Navarre? No, not Navarre. He says, but not on the continent.
Yeah.
Why has he got his... So obviously I think we're supposed to think about Coda there, because Coda's the elder of the den. I don't necessarily think he's more powerful, but why is he all of a sudden saying that? Tern has got a lot of confidence. He's always got confidence, and that one line makes me think, hang on, that's random. That jumped out on the page for me, that he would say, but not on the continent.
Yeah, I think he's just aware that it's going to be another dragons that could be more powerful than him. So. Yeah,
but why would he say it? He's so cocksure of himself normally. He's really confident, isn't he?
No, I think it's more about his knowledge, because the professor said that he had one of the most powerful. But he's like, no, there's another one Well, I don't know if there's more than one, but at least from my point of view, Koda is supposed to be stronger than him. It's bigger, isn't it?
Yeah. It's bigger and older.
So I wonder if dragons are like snakes. They just grow until they're alive.
Yeah.
But they never stop growing.
Are you ready for a theory?
Okay, let's do this.
Knowledge is power. And I think as the general's daughter, you should know that. We can't have someone walking around with unfettered access to classified material. They are a security risk to the entire kingdom. Daddy Sorengale.
Yes.
So, knowledge is power, and I think as the general's daughter, you should know that. I think we're supposed to read that in the way that your mum's the general, your mother's the general, you should know the importance that... Not her. No. I think you should know that, just in general, things are classified. You've grown up in a military family, you should know that. But I think that as the general's daughter, I think you should read that as... your father was killed for that. You should know that. We can't have someone walking around with unfettered access to classified material. They are a security risk to the entire kingdom. I think this, for me, is the single biggest piece of evidence that Violet's dad was killed because of the fables of the Baron.
Yes. I mean, it's something logical to think. But I need to maybe go back to the part when she was talking about how he dies. Because as far as I can recall...
his heart gave out.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but there's lots of conspiracies. I mean, there's even one at the moment. I don't know why I'm whispering. Where a particular company has a couple of whistleblowers and all of a sudden they turn up dead. Like, that's not unthinkable that the heart would give out. I'm doing quotation marks.
Kind of poison or something.
Something so suspicious. And this goes back to my point from, I don't know if it was a couple of weeks ago, where I talked about how he should have been more careful. He should have told Violet that book should not be in the archive. That book is not in the archives. And she can't go bandying it around like it's, I don't know,
like it's a child
#1 best-selling romantasy book. I think she is getting some clues about her father's death through that one line. Knowledge is power, and I think as the general's daughter, you should know that. We can't have someone walking around with unfettered access to classified material.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my theory. It's not just... So... It's quite a well-known theory across the Fourth Wing universe or the fandom, but I've not seen it linked directly to this quote before, and that for me is the bit that really jumps out. Yes. I think we're supposed to just brush over that because she's in a military family, but I think it's related to her dad. And yet Dane is living. That comes out here. So another link to the fact that Dane is some type of security risk. He has unfettered access, and Ten says, yeah, but he has to touch people. Yeah. So I think, I don't agree with Ten, obviously you know that, but there's something there. Carr gives her a bit of a threat as well when he talks about the bond that she has with Xaden. He basically says it's a death threat, isn't it? That unless you keep loyal and make your loyalty clear, you two as a partnership, whether that's a professional one or an unprofessional one, which we know it's more than a professional relationship, they would be too powerful to live. Yes. Which is a death threat. And then, I mean, it's really funny, the rest of the scene where she's talking about the fact that she can only wield lightning as part of an emotional reaction, and Ten with his "should I get the wing leader" line is really funny. And then, as I mentioned, the second of the two really famous lines of the whole series. There is nowhere in existence you could go that I wouldn't find you violence. It's supposed to be a threat, but she feels really comforted by it.
Yeah.
And then it's just funny I told you, so she blushes because obviously she's got naked Zayden in her head.
Yeah.
And Carr says, I told you it would make you overheat, because he's got no idea what she's thinking about, and she's going red-faced.
Yeah.
And it's not the wielding it's naked Zayden. So I love this chapter, and not because it's super steamy. I mean, it's really good the way that she's written that scene, but the best thing for me is all the extra bits you get. The deal to save the children of the rebels, the don't fall for me, but then he obviously wants her to fall for him, the awkwardness with Carr, the bit where she talks about where Carr talks about knowledge is power, that little thing for me.
Yeah.
The bond, the just the humour is just one of my favourite chapters. And you would think it was because it was a racy chapter, but it's not. It's because of all the bits in between that you just miss because you assume it's a...
Yeah.
And I think it's a distraction tactic from Rebecca Yarros. I think not... She enjoys writing that type of material, but I think it's a perfect ploy as an author. I don't know, maybe because you have some experience with that. Is it a way of hiding really important things like your dad was killed because he knew too much?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because you're distracted by the sex. And that for me is, I pay real attention to the bits in between, because we're supposed to just be like swooning over naked Zayden. And yeah.
Yeah, because as a writer, one of the things that you need to know how to do, and you like to do a lot, is taking the reader for one way and give it everything to make it think something. And then there's no what I actually was talking about is this, and then shocking with something like, oh my god, that was so obvious. That
but I was distracted. So on that note, when I reread Iron Flame on the next one, I've got so many ideas of what Violet's second signet could be. There's loads. And yes, I spend too long scrolling and read in a Reddit holes.
That covers the stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know about you, but I'm going to be looking in the sex scenes for clues for her second signet, because that for me would be the perfect way to let it slip, because you're distracted by something else. So yeah, I just wanted to get your perspective on it. And I don't know what's going to happen in your second book, but I wonder if it's a tactic that people might use to distract the reader with a little bit of nookie and sneak in the fact that her dad was killed.
Yes. There's so many things that you can do to just distract the reader. Sometimes just like putting the point of view of one of the main characters, how they feel. It changes completely the scene.
Yeah.
So if you just focus on the character feelings and not in the fact what's going on, what he's hearing, then the stuff change.
We're going to have to do a whole episode on Violet's second signet when we've got through Iron Flame.
Yeah.
But Riddick's humour as well, for me, is a bit of a distraction tactic. Because there's a particular point in Iron Flame where he's being quite funny, and there's a mention of Vandana's power, and there's a really good option for a second signet there. And the fact that Riddick is so funny is, to me, a little bit of a distraction as well. So I'm just going to be really super alert to the distraction tactics in Iron Flame, and it's made me a little bit suspicious of these scenes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to flock to the sex scenes, not for the sex scenes, I promise you. No. But for what's hidden between the lines.
Just focus on the after the sex scene. No.
No, the during, in between the little lines that are given
details,
away. There is so much in them. Anyway, there's 9 chapters left. We do the next 5 next week. And then, we'll see where we get to.
It's going to be the last episode for Fourth Wing.
Yeah. And then we can just chain it through Iron Flame and start talking about theories. But we got quite a lot of theories into that episode. And without spoiling Iron Flame, I think, if you haven't read Iron Flame, you wouldn't know. Anyway, do you feel like I've spoiled anything?
No, because I think by the time that you want to read it, you completely forget about names, characters, or scenes.
We have to absolutely do an episode just on epigraphs because they're... Yeah, and I'm so desperate to know what happened to Brennan that made someone close to him become his enemy.
Yeah. Is there some format in Iron Flame with epigraphs and before chapters?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It happens in the Galbraith books as well. A few authors have epigraphs. And I really love it as a tool to...
Yeah.
It's world building as well because you get all the books that we'll never get to read, but we'd like to.
Yeah. I mean, it's really useful to tell what's going on or what's going to happen as well. So there's a lot of things that happen.
Yeah, but you never realise. It's like the theories of Nostradamus, where you can't use them to predict what's going to happen, but you can retrospectively go back and think. And I feel like I had a good guess at a few things that could happen in Onyx Storm. Thank you for listening to episode, I'm going to say 6 of Faithfully Fantasy. Just forgot our name. If you liked that, please give us a rating on wherever you've listened to us. It will really help bump up the show. And we are really excited to bring you the next episode. And in the meantime, if you're not already doing so, please follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We share theories on there. We share other fun things that are happening. And we'd like to chat to you. However, until we finished Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, JC is banned from the comment. You are banned from the comments, just in case you see a spoiler.
Yeah,
so
it's getting really hard, to be honest.
I know.
Because now everything in my personal TikTok or Instagram is related to Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. So I'm scared every single time when I see somebody holding the book. I straight away skip because I know there's going to say something that's going to ruin everything for me. But I'm willing to finish the whole season with Fourth Wing, not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah. So, like I said, please follow us on TikTok and Instagram and talk to us. Just don't spoil it for JC, but you can't spoil it for me because I've already...
yes.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Next week on Faithfully Fantasy.
There's 10 days left to graduation, and how much can happen in 10 days? I think she knows all about it because of Violet's dad. Lilith Sorengale is playing a part.
Everything started with Brennan's dad, so that's for me the key. Previous chapter I said that I want to know a little bit more about Fen Ryerson, and this epigraph give me all the information that I was looking for. And his days of interrogation. He was captured, he was interrogated.
What if he was interrogated and Daddy Sorengale was the scribe that was recording it all? That's why he started to go cryptic.